A very good evening to all. I'm going to present an extremely rare condition, spondylometaphyseal dysplasia, a type of skeletal dysplasia. As we all know, skeletal dysplasias are a group of heterogeneous genetic disorders involving bones and in which genes related to bone development, differentiation, and mineralizations are involved. There are three different types of skeletal dysplasias depending on the type of bones involved, that is rhizomelic, mesomelic, and acromelic. Rhizomelic related to bones involved are the humerus and the femur, and mesomelic tibia and fibula in lower extremity, and radius and ulna in upper extremity. And acromelic related to bones of hand and feet. The diagnosis of skeletal metaplasia is usually done on the basis of radiological investigation, clinical presentation, biochemical investigations, and molecular testing. Spondylometaphyseal dysplasia is a type of skeletal dysplasia which involves metaphyseal ends of long bones and spine. Kozlowski type of spondylometaphyseal dysplasia is the most common type of dysplasia, and it is autosomal dominant type of inheritance it shows, and it was first described by Kozlowski in 1967, who described it as a rare form of bone disease with short stature, abnormal growth, and skeletal features. It is characterized by metaphyseal irregularities of long bones associated with platyspondyly of spine. Herewith I am presenting a 5-year-old male child with short stature who was referred to ophthalmology OPD for detailed evaluation. He was the only child of healthy parents with non-consanguineous marriage. He was born out of full-term normal hospital delivery and birth weight was 2.6 kg. History of NICU stay was present for 15 days with history of convulsions, for which treatment was given for 3 years of age. History of delayed milestones was present, but at the age of 5 he was able to ride a bicycle and hop on 2 legs and can also speak 1 to 2 lines continuously. So as we can see in this picture, the child is of short stature. Normally the height in a 5-year-old child is between 103 to 112 centimeter with normal arm span which is equivalent to the height. But in our case, height of the child was 79 centimeter with arm span of 71 centimeter only. The ratio of upper segment to lower segment was in our case 1.3:1. Normal ratio in the neonate or the newborn is between 1.7:1, and at the age of 10 years it is 1:1. But here in our case it was slightly more shortening of the lower extremity was seen, and the ratio was 1.3:1. Head circumference was normal, that is 48 centimeter. As we can see, there is frontoparietal bossing is being seen in this picture with scoliosis and protuberant abdomen. Oral cavity was normal and his gait was also normal. Hearing and intelligence were also normal. On ocular examination, there was normal distant and near visual acuity. The child was orthophoric with normal extraocular movements. Hypertelorism was present, and on slit lamp examination, everything was normal except for presence of persistent pupillary membrane. Intraocular pressure was also normal. On dilated fundus examination, few yellowish spots were seen at the macula and few retinal pigment epithelial changes were also seen. OCT was normal and hypoautofluorescence was seen at the fovea on fundus autofluorescence. Radiological evaluation.
Can you sum up? I think you are running.
Yeah. Radiological evaluations in this picture, as we can see, there is presence of platyspondyly, that is widened intervertebral spaces, and there are changes at the metaphyseal ends of the long bones and even of the hands and feet. So on the basis of clinical examination and radiological evaluation, diagnosis of spondylometaphyseal dysplasia Kozlowski type was done. There are different various types of other SMDs are also present depending on clinical presentation and the type of bone involvement and inheritance pattern. The common ocular associations that are seen in SMDs are myopia, corneal dystrophy, then congenital glaucoma, cataract, optic atrophy, pigmentary abnormalities, lattice degeneration and retinal detachment. Although our patient didn't have any significant ocular finding except for the few pigmentary changes at macula with normal color vision, which is an unlikely finding. The diagnosis was done basically by the pediatrician, orthopedician and radiologist. I am presenting this case so as to make awareness about the syndromic features of SMD. Although ocular examination does not help in the diagnosis of this, but surely we can aid to make the diagnosis. It also highlights the importance of thorough ophthalmological examination in all rare systemic inherited disorders, and a multidisciplinary approach is required in the diagnosis and management of such conditions. Thank you.